second interview, and I'm here with, I hope I pronounced
Kaniuk. You're good.
I'm here with Stacy Kaniuk. I met her at the Bluebird North in Port Perry, and saw another show here in Toronto. And today I'm going to ask some questions about her as a songwriter. So to start with, when did you start writing or playing?
I started playing when I was quite young. Sort of just came from a musical family, and the piano was there, and eventually I went over and started dabbling. So I was about 5 when I started playing.
Wow.
I wasn't very good at 5, but I started singing just around the house, and with my family we would sing, in church, or my sister and I used to sing together. And so I did school, and I went to university and all that, and I sang that whole time. But it was when I left university, and I thought, before I go get a job, I shouldn't say real job, but a job, I'm going to dedicate myself to music and just see where it goes. So that's, that was about 6 years ago. So I've been doing music full time since then. And that was sort of the time when I started writing, because I was always singing other people's songs, and then I realized that writing and singing kind of went hand in hand, and it was a big, a good release sometimes. If you had something pent up, then I would start writing, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna, try this. And I'm still learning. I'm still, I still go to writing workshops, and trying to always get better at it.
And was there, was there a moment, an event, a thing that told you, like, oh, I want to be a writer, I want to be a songwriter?
I think it has to do, it wasn't like a singular moment, but it has to do with the way songs make me feel. And then I would think, if I was listening to, for example, Donny Hathaway is a really big influence of mine, and the way he sings his songs, it felt like such an emotional experience. And the first time I finished a song and wrote it, completed it, was happy with it, it felt like a really great release, sort of, almost like writing in a journal. It was like a complete, almost a snapshot of a time in my life, and I thought, hey, that feels pretty good.
Yeah.
I
know
more.
the feeling. Yeah. So last time in Port Perry, we talked about how people sometimes just walk in because they think you're just at home, doing nothing.
She's just making music. I can drop by whenever I like.
So how does your work week? What does your work week look like?
It's pretty scattered. Like, it's not very regimented, and that's because there's always something different going on. If it's a pretty quiet week, I like that. Sometimes I can write music, usually in the morning before anybody comes home. I like to write when the house is quiet.
Yeah.
So anytime that there's a window of opportunity where it's quiet, I usually drop what I'm doing and go over to the piano, because that's like precious time, right? But usually first thing in the morning, there's emails, all that sort of stuff. And I tend to be a bit of what we call a night owl. I stay up really late, and that's when I'll work on the website, or putting out newsletters and all that sort of stuff. But it varies from week to week. I mean, something like even this interview, that doesn't happen every day. So today is, because I have a show on Friday, today I'm doing the interview in the morning, and then a rehearsal with the band, and then a little photo thing with a friend. And so it's pretty all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm learning now that the best way to be, to sort of be successful at this, is to give yourself a routine and treat it like as if it's a 9-to-5 job. Everybody I've talked to who does it, who's successful in this, they have a pretty strict routine, right?
From the start, when you just started making songs, to now doing shows and stuff, what was, how did you start? Did you do open mics? Or because I'm doing open mics all the time.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Every little opportunity leads to another one. So when I was starting, like I said, when I was young, I was singing in church, and through that, there was a little, like, the community would be very supportive, and then it was everything from, I used to do, when I was young, like, 12 or 13, I was doing like karaoke contests. I didn't know even what else to do, but I wasn't even allowed in the bar, but we would do these karaoke contests, and then we do talent shows and stuff at high school. You know, anytime there was a chance to perform, I wanted to do that. And then when I was older, I was involved in like a girl group kind of thing. We did Christmas songs and stuff, so we learned a lot. That was sort of a different venture for me. And then after that, it was just open mics. Learning, you know, making friends in the business, and then if someone had a show and they needed someone to open, you would kind of do that. But there was a lot of, you know, there's probably a lot of shows I did that I would be embarrassed to say I did now, right? But you have to start somewhere, and eventually you start to gain a little traction. You learn a lot, first of all, about booking shows and rehearsals, and you meet all the people from the different clubs, and they help. Hopefully, they help you, you know, sort of get to the next level. So. It's a constant work, though.
And what's your social life like? Do you have time to? Because I can imagine you work during the days.
Right.
You work during the evenings.
The cool thing about music is, even though I tend to write by myself, so many people I've met who are doing this, even yourself included, it's a very social job, really. I mean, I like to play with a band, and the band is now my friends, and I've met their friends, and everyone's always playing a show somewhere. So even if I'm not playing, I'd like to go and see another performer, and you meet people that way. So it's actually quite fun, and there are times, yes, when I'm exhausted. Like if I've been playing a show and I'm home at 2 in the morning or something, the next day I'm kind of like, leave me alone. But it's a lot of fun, actually. It's a great way to meet people, and now going to shows and playing shows has sort of become my social life. And I don't mind that at all.
It's something I've been thinking about, and I was a little bit scared about. Have you ever been scared of pressure that will be put on your creativity if you have a first success or a first...
For sure. I think sometimes also being a female, and because I do a lot of pop music, I was always concerned about being forced into a certain box, you know, a certain genre. Especially when I was young, there would be people who would say, you know, oh, we're gonna make you, you know, a star. You think, really, you know? So I kind of get nervous. So the best advice that I heard and that I followed was to stick to your guns and do what you want to do. Make sure you're comfortable with yourself, because it's so people pull you in a million different directions, right? And success, it's funny to even be afraid of it, but it's something that I crave, obviously, is just to make a living doing this. But there's a ton of pressure from, you know, being a certain kind of style, and that's something that I get nervous about sometimes. But the more I write and the stronger I am in my own element, then I think there's nothing to worry about.
Do you have tips on making useful contacts?
That's a good question. Yes. I have learned that being yourself is the ticket to useful contacts. Because you said useful and not just contacts, right? You can meet, you know, I've gone to lots of conferences and stuff. You meet lots of people. Everyone's always giving their card, you know. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really mean anything unless you've made a connection. And sometimes you approach people with a sales pitch, you know. Oh, I'm this and I have a CD, you should listen to it, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I don't even talk about the CD, and I just talk to the person. And in that way, you kind of get to know them, they get to see what you're all about, they get interested in you personally, and then they're more apt to want to help you if they, you know, people want to help people that they like, you know. So sometimes if you do a really hard sell, you know, on the same ways, people kind of get their defenses up, you know, and they don't open up. So sometimes it's better just to go, if you're going to, say, a conference or a networking opportunity, go with the idea that you're going to make friends instead of contacts, and that has been really helpful for me in And then, of course, a follow-up email or something means a lot more if you can say, hey, how are your kids doing? Or send me that link you were talking about, and it really makes a big difference, I think.
Yeah. That's nice that you mentioned email, because the next one was what part does the internet play in your career?
Right. It's funny, when I first started, I was like, I'm going to be a songwriter. And I was a little naive, I think, in terms of I didn't really know how you go about doing it. You just start, but so much of it is internet-based. It's unbelievable. Between, you know, the Facebook pages and the YouTube channel and the Twitter account, a fan page, website, newsletters, all of that stuff. At the same time, none of that matters if the songs aren't good.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a balance. You know, I'll be working away on an update on the website, but there's like 5 songs that I need to finish, and really what I should focus on is the songs, because everything else can take care of itself if the material is really good. So it's sort of a balance between what you need to have and all the other sort of fluff, you know. But it's been great for networking and meeting people, and you know, Twitter is a resource that I find musicians use a lot, just in terms of spreading the word about shows or all of that stuff. So it's a lot. It's a lot to, you know, but sometimes I think you have to just say, do I really need that other account? You know, there's hundreds and hundreds of music platforms. And you can lose your mind trying to maintain them all. So, yeah, it's crazy though. I think it's good for music though. I think in the end, internet is really, I've heard much more music than I ever would have been exposed to without the internet. So.
Yeah. Many people hate it, but it's been so good.
I think you have to, at this point, you have to embrace it, because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We just have to be innovative about how to use it to our advantage.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the answer is, but I think it's an exciting time for music and the internet. And I think we'll find a way to marry both of them. So it's a win-win situation.
If you look back, is there anything you would do differently if you could start all over?
I think that's a good question. It's a good question, because everything that you do or don't do leads you to where you are. So I'm here because of choices that I've made, and I'm happy with where I am right now. I think I probably maybe would have taken a few more risks, taken a few more opportunities instead of shying away from them. But that all comes with confidence, and sometimes you don't find that confidence until later. So it's hard to say what you would do differently, but I think the only regrets I've ever had have been risks or opportunities that I haven't taken, rather than things that I've done that I wish I haven't done.
And there was one question of a good friend of mine who I visited in New York.
Oh, cool.
He was asking, what makes you happiest and why? Writing a song and finishing it, or hearing the master track when it's been recorded, or playing it in front of an audience and hearing their response.
I think it's probably the last one, playing it live. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I write because it makes me happy, and yes, finishing a song feels so good. But you also write for other people. You write it and then you want to share it, you know, usually. And so I think that's probably the most magical feeling, is finishing a song, being happy with it, playing it for people, and especially if it gets a warm reception. You think, yep, that's what it's all about. So I'd have to say the last one.
All right. Well, I'm out of questions.
Cool. That's neat that you got people to send me questions. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. I hope, did I answer everything okay? Hi, my name is Stacy Kaniuk, and here's my tip of the day. I would say, if you're struggling with your songwriting, to not get too caught up in it and not take it too seriously. Sometimes the thing that works for me is to just take a break, have some chocolate, go for a walk, and take a bit of a breather, and don't force anything. It'll come when it comes, so don't get too upset if you're struggling.